Scotland is one of those places that feels instantly recognizable, even to people who have never been there. Rugged mountains, ancient castles, wind-swept islands, deep lochs, and cities built from stone. But Scotland is more than a dramatic landscape or a cultural image. It is a country within the United Kingdom, with its own institutions, its own legal and education systems, its own languages, and a national identity shaped by centuries of independence, union, and political change. In Scottish Gaelic, Scotland is called Alba, a name that connects the modern country to a much older cultural world. Today, Scotland occupies the northern part of the island of Great Britain, along with many nearby islands. Its story is a blend of geography, history, language, and government, all tied together by a strong sense of place. Geographically, Scotland sits at the northern end of Great Britain. To the south, it shares a land border with England. To the north and west lies the Atlantic Ocean, to the east the North Sea, and to the southwest the Irish Sea. This position has shaped Scotland's history in important ways. Its coasts opened it to trade, migration, conflict, and cultural exchange, while its mountains and islands helped preserve regional identities. Scotland is not just a mainland territory. It also includes many islands, especially in the Hebrides off the west coast and the Northern Isles farther north. These islands are not minor details on a map, they are central to Scotland's cultural and geographic character, helping explain why the country has such varied traditions, accents, landscapes, and local histories. Scotland's population is relatively small compared with its land area and international reputation. In 2022, about 5.4 million people live there. The capital is Edinburgh, a city known for its historic old town, elegant new town, political institutions, universities, and major festivals. Yet the largest and most populous city is Glasgow, a place associated with industry, shipbuilding, music, sport, and a distinctive urban culture. This difference between political capital and largest city matters. Edinburgh often represents Scotland's official and ceremonial face, while Glasgow reflects much of its modern social and economic energy. Together, these two cities show that Scotland is not only rural or mountainous, it is also urban, creative, industrial, and deeply connected to wider British and global history. The political story of Scotland begins long before the modern United Kingdom. The Kingdom of Scotland emerged as a sovereign state in the 9th century. Over time, it developed its own monarchy, institutions, laws, alliances, and identity. One of the most important features of Scottish independence was its long relationship with France, often remembered as part of the Old Alliance. This connection helped Scotland maintain independence from England during periods when the two neighbouring kingdoms were rivals. The border between Scotland and England was not simply a line on a map. For centuries it marked the meeting point of two separate states with competing ambitions. Scotland's medieval and early modern history left a lasting memory of sovereignty that continues to influence national identity today. A major turning point came in 1603. James VI of Scotland inherited the thrones of England and Ireland, becoming James I of England as well. This created a personal union of the crowns, meaning the same monarch ruled the three kingdoms, but the kingdoms themselves remained legally separate. Scotland still had its own parliament and institutions. Then, on May 1, 1707, Scotland and England entered a political union, creating the Kingdom of Great Britain. The Parliament of Scotland was absorbed into the new Parliament of Great Britain. This was not just a change of royal title, it reshaped Scotland's political future. Scotland was now part of a larger state, but it did not simply disappear. Many of its institutions, customs, and national memories survived inside the Union. The modern constitutional position of Scotland changed again in 1999, when the Scottish Parliament was re-established. This brought devolved government back to Scotland after nearly 3 centuries without a separate national parliament. Devolution means that some powers are exercised in Scotland, while others remain with the United Kingdom Parliament. The Scottish Parliament has 129 members representing 73 constituencies, along with additional members chosen through a proportional system. The Scottish Government acts as the executive arm of devolved government. It is headed by the First Minister, who chairs the cabinet and leads policy within devolved areas. This arrangement gives Scotland significant control over many domestic issues, while still placing it within the wider framework of the United Kingdom. One reason Scotland's national identity has remained strong is that it kept several distinct systems even after union with England. Scotland has its own legal system, separate in important ways from the law of England and Wales. It also has its own education system, with different traditions, qualifications, and institutional history. Religion, too, developed differently, with the Church of Scotland playing a central role in national life. These differences are not small administrative details, they are part of how people experience Scotland as a distinct society. A country can be politically joined to a larger state and still maintain separate structures that shape everyday life. In Scotland, law, education, and religious history have all helped preserve a sense of continuity. Language is another key part of Scotland's identity. The most widely spoken varieties are Scottish English and Scots, which exist on a dialect continuum. That means the boundary between them is not always sharp. Some people speak Standard English with Scottish pronunciation and vocabulary, while others use forms of Scots with distinct grammar, words, and expressions. Scots has deep roots and has been used in literature, song, and everyday speech for centuries. Alongside this is Scottish Gaelic, a Celtic language historically associated especially with the Highlands and Islands. Gaelic speakers can be found across Scotland, but native-speaking communities are most strongly connected with the Hebrides. Today, Gaelic speakers make up less than 2% of the population, yet revitalization efforts have encouraged a growing number of second-language learners. Scotland's landscape is often described through three broad mainland regions: the Highlands, the Lowlands, and the Southern Uplands. This division is simple, but it is useful because each region has shaped different patterns of life. The Highlands occupy the north and northwest and are known for mountains, glens, lochs, and a relatively sparse population. The Lowlands stretch across the central part of the country and are flatter, more urbanized, and historically important for agriculture, industry, and population growth. The Southern Uplands form a hilly region near the border with England. These geographic zones help explain why Scotland contains such contrasts: remote mountain areas, densely populated cities, farming country, industrial towns, and border landscapes all within one country. The Highlands are the most mountainous region in the British Isles, and they contain the highest peak, Ben Nevis, which rises to 4,413 feet, or 1,345 meters. But the Highlands are not just high ground. They represent one of Scotland's most powerful cultural landscapes. The region is associated with clan history, Gaelic traditions, dramatic weather, and a sense of remoteness that has shaped both reality and imagination. Many of Scotland's famous lochs are found in or near highland landscapes. A loch can be a freshwater lake, but the word is also used for saltwater inlets along the deeply indented west coast. This coastline, cut by sea lochs and bordered by islands, gives western Scotland its fragmented, maritime character. Scotland's islands add another layer to the country's identity. The Hebrides, off the west coast, include islands with very different landscapes and histories. Some, like Molan Skye, are known for mountainous terrain, dramatic coastlines, and scenery that has become iconic in images of Scotland. Others, such as Tiree and Call, are flatter, with open skies, beaches, and a different kind of island environment. Farther north are the Northern Isles, including island groups shaped by their own maritime histories and connections across the North Sea and North Atlantic. Island life has often required adaptation to weather, distance, limited resources, and seaborne connections. As a result, Scotland's islands are not peripheral, they are central to the diversity of Scottish life. So, what makes Scotland distinct? It is not just one thing. It is a country inside the United Kingdom, but also a former sovereign kingdom with a long historical memory. It shares institutions with the wider UK, yet has its own devolved parliament and government. It speaks English, but also preserves Scots and Gaelic as part of its cultural inheritance. Its cities are modern and influential, while its mountains, islands, and lochs remain central to how people imagine the nation. Scotland's identity has survived because it is built from many layers: geography, law, language, political history, and community. To understand Scotland is to see how a place can be both deeply connected to a larger state and unmistakably itself. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.